Hi everyone, Jennifer Schaus here, coming to you live today from Washington, D.C., and thank you for joining us in our Webinar Wednesday series. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern, we are covering the top U.S. federal government contractors. All of our webinars are complimentary and recorded, so if you have to jump off early or you're joining late, you can certainly catch our recordings later on our website or on our YouTube channel, where we have over 600 complimentary government contracting videos. If you're looking just for the PowerPoint, in order to get some of the links, you can find those on slideshare.net, and you can use your login credentials to access SlideShare. So there's no cost to that. A little bit about us before we get started. We are based in downtown DC and provide professional services for federal contractors. Our primary service is focused on GSA schedule support. We also provide other services listed there on your screen. You can find more information about us on our website. We've got events and obviously webinars and conferences that we put on throughout the year. In the event that you are selling to federal contractors, we offer a variety of platforms to advertise your services, your event, or your business. Our newsletter now reaches actually over 26,000 subscribers. LinkedIn, we've got over 27,000 followers. You can put on a webinar with us. You can place an ad in our newsletter. We can post on LinkedIn about your business, upcoming webinar, or event that you're hosting. If you want more information, which would be our media kit, just send us an email to the hello@jenniferschaus.com email address. Some upcoming events and especially webinars that we are working on at the end of the summer, as well as a little further out next year, February of 2024. We're working with the Virginia PTAC, soon to be the Virginia Apex Accelerator, to put on the exact same class on Thursday, August 23rd, and again Thursday, February 15th, covering marketing for federal contractors. There's no cost to attend. Also next week on Thursday, June 15th, so 1 week and 1 day from today, we've got a webinar on GSA schedules. If you happen to miss that, you can catch it again on September 14th. It goes through the requirements, all of the proposal preparation, and then what to expect post-award, including compliance and reporting. Not tomorrow, but the next day, Friday, June 9th, we've got a complimentary webinar coming up with MyGovWatch, covering identifying federal opportunities and ensuring that you're not missing anything, and ensuring that you're not looking at opportunities that really are not geared towards you, due to the fact that 38% of NAICS codes are incorrectly assigned. The link to register is here on the screen. It's also, I believe, on our website under the event section. Again, this is a complimentary webinar, and there will be Q&A as part of this. On Monday, July 17th, so almost a little bit more than a month away, we expect 200 to 300 federal government contractors at our networking event. It's simply 2 hours of networking. There's no speaker. This is not a conference. You can meet with the SBA, the VA, Department of Defense, DHRA, Homeland Security, and Department of Education. Those are going to be the small business offices. We also want to thank our sponsors, Federal Compass, GovForce, BidSpeed, Sahori Insurance, and Level Up Strategies. You can find more information about these companies on the event link, which can be found, go back one slide, it's there at the bottom of this slide. It's also on our website under the event tab. Okay, the reason our webinars are complimentary is because we've got great sponsors who cover the cost of running these webinars and putting the data together. We also want to thank our friends at GovEvents. They are, I'm sorry, at GovSpend. GovSpend and FedMine is the data platform that delivers all of the data for these presentations. So we do want to thank GovEvents, the premier platform for posting events related to government and government contracting. You can find all of our webinars and our events on govevents.com, as well as recordings from our past 600 webinars. We want to thank Tom Johnson and his team at Set Aside Alert. They are the go-to publication for contracting opportunities for women women-owned, small businesses, veteran-owned, hub zone, and 8A firms. Visit setasidealert.com for more information. The Fairfax County Economic Development Authority has an online calendar of events and webinars. We want to thank them for posting our events and webinars on their calendar. And GovSpend FedMine, as I mentioned, they are providing the data in this webinar series this year. They've been our partner for the past couple years and have provided great contracting data on federal opportunities. They are the trusted source of data, analytics, and insight for federal contractors. They integrate data from 18 federal data sources and sets and create a single database that places opportunities at your fingertips. They also provide contract opportunities within thousands of entities at federal, state, local, and educational organizations. So again, thank you to GovSpend and FedMine for providing the data in the webinar series this year and previous years. The Reston Chamber of Commerce had their annual event about 3 weeks ago or so. It was a great event for government contractors, so if you missed it this year, be sure to catch it next year. And also be sure to check out their last Tuesday of every month is their Government Contracting Council meeting. If you want to attend, you can probably find a link on their website, or you can contact Alicia Field. Her email address is there at the bottom of your screen. I believe that their events, this council meeting is in person at their organization, or you can attend by Zoom. Contact Alicia if you've got questions. The Virginia PTAC is located at George Mason University. They offer free one-on-one counseling to established government contracting firms in Virginia on federal, state, and local procurement topics. If you're interested in learning more, please use the links provided to explore services, review homework recommendations, register for live training, and find useful links to agencies and other self-directed learning. Online resources and group trainings are free with no restriction on business location. Okay, and then we've got our friends at BidSpeed. BidSpeed helps and you win. You can find opportunities from federal, state, and local public sources in the U.S. BidSpeed can help you find teaming partners, incumbent point of contact, expiring contracts, and can also provide you with a compliance matrix and proposal templates. BidSpeed is an official partner of the U.S. SBA's 7J Management and Technical Assistance Program. Get started today at bidspeed.com. Events are the ultimate engagement channel to bring government and industry together. 68% of government personnel report that they attend more than one event each year. FBC has worked with government and industry for 45 plus years to create gatherings where ideas are shared and to help government achieve its goals. This includes agency industry days, cybersecurity symposiums, tech expos, and offsite meetings. FBC provides full lifecycle meeting planning and event management. With over 5,000 meetings under their belt, FBC has the experience, systems, and personnel to make your next event exceptional. Learn more at fbcinc.com. Okay, a little bit about the series and our schedule. Again, as I mentioned, everything is complimentary and recorded. So if you're looking for today's recording or the PowerPoint, you've got the links there to get to them. It's also going to be posted on our website. Here's the full schedule. Here's where we are in the schedule. We're almost halfway through. Today we're covering consolidated nuclear security. Everything in red is what we've covered, so you can find all of those recordings on our website as well as on the YouTube channel. If you want to register for anything that's coming up, you can use the link that's highlighted there at the top, which takes you to the top 40, which are the schedule for the webinar series. That'll take you over to our website and you can register individually for each of those. We will conclude on Wednesday, November 15th with GlaxoSmithKline. The week that we skip is 4th of July. Okay, we're assuming that most people are tuning in because they're interested in subcontracting with these large businesses. In the event that that's true, we would highly encourage you to understand the Federal Acquisition Regulations and the DFARS. So the FAR and the DFARS are the rules and regulations that the contracting officers must abide by When awarding contracts, it's also incumbent upon you as a subcontractor or direct vendor to the government to be cognizant of these rules and regulations, particularly when it comes to some of these subcontracting flow down clauses and the requirements that you must meet. So if you're not interested in sitting down and reading the FAR and you want a short video that will explain the highlights of FAR Part 44 and DFARS Part 44, you've got the links here. We did also cover other webinars on subcontracting. We kicked off this series in the beginning of February with subcontracting with the primes in 6 sessions, starting from market research all the way through to compliance. The link to get to that recording is listed here on your screen. We also in 2021 covered subcontracting opportunities within all of the 15 federal departments, and then over the years we've got amassed over 30 webinars on more of the strategic and tactical topics of subcontracting. Okay, some best practices before we dig into consolidated nuclear are for subcontracting specifically is to define what it is you do and do well. So what is your value proposition? What is it that you are bringing to the table? And then you want to identify opportunities where there is something unique to your business that you are adding. So this can be anything from perhaps having a lower price or some sort of technical skill set, something that's unique to your business where you will stand out and shine. Once you have identified those opportunities, you want to see if there's any way to partner or if you're strictly up against competition. So using all of the public data that's out there, everything from SAM to FPDS, USA Spending, or any of the paid data aggregators that are out there. I can't emphasize enough how important research is before you contact any of these companies or even the government. So do your homework. It's so easy to do these days. If you think back to 20, 30 years ago when before the advent of the internet, how did people do research? They really just had to talk to each other or read news publications or watch the TV and hope that something on the news was going to mention a company or a government agency. But now you have so much access and use it to your benefit. And once you've done all that research and you've identified what it is you're bringing to the table, highlight that on your capabilities statement. So you should definitely have a bland, kind of vanilla capability statement, but then you also want one that's customized towards the specific opportunity, and even cross that with the company that you are potentially going to be working with. So what can you do to highlight your area of expertise? Why is it that they should work with you? You're bringing the peanut butter, they've got the jelly. So if that's the case, then highlight that on the capability statement. Once you've got all this in place, you've done all of your homework and you know everything that there is to know about this company as well as the solicitation, make sure then you go and register on the company website as a small business vendor. Most of these companies will have a link where you can go to do that. When you're on their website, make sure that you sign up for their newsletter. What events are they attending? Are they members of associations? Who are the SBLOs, the small business liaison officers? Who are the program managers? Have all of this information. Don't make the SBLO do your homework because A, they won't, and B, it's not their job. So if you come in prepared and you've done all of that research, they're going to be more inclined to work with you. They're going to be more inclined to patch you through to the program manager who's really going to be deciding, are you a valuable asset to them or not? So if you can shine with the SBLO, he or she is then going to sometimes act as the gatekeeper, even though they're there to help you, but you want to stand out from the others that are contacting all the other 100 ants. I call them ants just because there's so many small businesses going after these SBLOs, or even within the government, the OSDBUs and OSBPs looking for help. And I'd say 98% of them have not done the homework. So it's, you know, a level of effort that you have to undertake, but once you do, you will stick out from the flock. Okay, so today we're covering Consolidated Nuclear Security, LLC. There is a link to their website, pretty simple. However, the way to understand Consolidated Nuclear, they operate two nuclear plants. One is Pantex in Texas, and the other is Y12 in Tennessee. This is in support of the NNSA, which is Department of Energy, the National Nuclear Security Administration. So if you're not familiar with that, please, again, before you contact any of these companies, or you see a solicitation that you think is written just for you, make sure that you know everything that there is to know about NNSA and Department of Energy. So CNS operates those two plants, but CNS is comprised of these companies: Bechtel, Leidos, ATK Launch Systems, which was purchased by Northrop Grumman, SOC LLC, and then Booz Allen is a teaming subcontractor. So the big guys are the Bechtel, Leidos, Northrop, and SOC, and then Booz Allen is the sub. So the link, if you want to do business with CNS, they do have a small business program office. Pantex and Y12 also have their own small business offices. So it would behoove you to register in all of these after, again, and only after you've done your homework. When we go into SAM, what we're looking at here is, in fact, this is the parent company. So there's the UEI that we're looking at today. And the LinkedIn information shows up here, based out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which is where the Y12 facility is. We've got the SBLO from Y12 listed here. We couldn't really find anyone from Pantex or Consolidated Nuclear, because I think they're just broken out like this. So I would maybe start with Greta, and if there's anyone else that you can find as you're sleuthing through here, it's possible that we've missed some folks, although it doesn't look like Greta is very active on LinkedIn with 350 connections. So I'm not sure that a LinkedIn entry point is going to be your best bet here. You probably want to use some of the links that are on their website, which we'll provide later in the presentation. When we look at the prime contracts on the civilian side, no surprise here, Department of Energy, as we said, the NNSA is the main contract that the business holds. And as you can see, their revenue more or less is fairly steady. 2022, last year, fiscal year, was a good year. And it looks like for fiscal year 2023 at 2.8. I don't know if they'll get up to 3.8 by the end of this fiscal year. There are still a couple more months left, and we do obviously see a lot of spending in Q4, which is almost upon us. So I would keep an eye on that, but fairly steady. So nothing, no big surprises here. They've got the contract, and that's it. Meaning the contract with NNSA. Nothing here on the defense side, and nothing on the independent agency side. Their main business is running this Department of Energy, the two facilities, and that's basically what they do. So their one NAICS code is, in fact, Facility Support Services. As we saw in the previous slide, 2022 was the big year. So nothing here that we really need to drill down on, or any other services that we see that they are providing. Okay, so more or less the same numbers throughout the past fiscal years, and again, we'll see what happens for 2023. And for the contract with the sub-K plan here, these numbers are going to look the same because these contracts are, in fact, over 750,000, which is the threshold for subcontracting. Nothing is going to show up on the defense side because this is, again, a contract with Department of Energy. Nothing here on independent. And then the subcontracts awarded by Consolidated Nuclear shows up as Department of Energy. And then by industry, again, facilities support. So again, this is pretty simple, where the real meat is kind of how the business is Consolidated, and some news, which we'll get to in a moment. And subcontracts awarded, this should actually say Consolidated Nuclear, none. Consolidated reported, none. There are no GWACs, government-wide acquisition contracts. These are direct contracts that they have, again, with Department of Energy. No expiring contracts. On the conclusion side, basically we're just trying to break this out to make it easy to understand. And there's really not too much to delve into on the actual contracts. But a link to Pantex. So CNS, again, is managing these two energy facilities, Pantex and Y12. Pantex, we've got the link there, and then they have their own link on doing business with Pantex, but you can also go to the CNS site, but I would encourage you to go to all three just so you're not missing anything. Again, CNS is made up of Bechtel Leidos, SOC, and ATK, which was recently purchased by Northrop Grumman. Booz Allen is the teaming subcontractor on this contract. So I'm sure that there are flow down or lower tier subcontracts to look at. You would have to cross-reference that in SAM by pulling up these companies and their UEI within SAM to see perhaps what might be available. Pantex has their own, because they are a separate entity. CNS is really just kind of, we'll almost call it like a holding company, even though it is a true living, breathing business. But again, Pantex is in Texas. A little bit about them, listed here with their main responsibilities being life extension, surveillance, assembly, and focus on high explosives. What else? Some of this is just reiterating a little bit of history here, stating that in 1975, more or less the genesis of Pantex was focused on the nuclear weapons, and they were originally constructed as the conventional bomb plant during the early days of World War II. So the operations of Pantex obviously has changed throughout the years. CNS follows Procter & Gamble, Mason & Hanger, Babcock & Wilcox. And just some history on employees and budget. Here's some news, and it's just a snapshot. There wasn't really anything to dig into too deeply here, just because they are very focused, obviously, on facilities management. But some leadership changes there at the top link. This obviously is perhaps a little bit late if you're coming to the party here. Looking for, as they're looking for a comment on the Pantex plant management. So it looks like that is coming up for recompete. So Consolidated Nuclear may or may not win that contract again. But again, these seeking comments usually have are going to have a drop dead due date, so that may have passed. We didn't click through that to see. So the event that you are in the facilities management business, it would probably be in your best interest to look at that draft solicitation and perhaps follow that, as well as contact the Bechtels, the Northrop Grummans, and the other companies that are involved as part of CNS. Their last news piece here, again, these are just snapshots that we took earlier today. That they're setting groundwork for a contract, again, another just kind of standalone RFI. That may or may not be the same as what's above, but again, if you're interested in doing business with these folks, you really want to spend a good amount of time upfront to learn as much as you can about them. On the Pantex site, I was fairly impressed with how it's laid out for small businesses. On the right-hand side, in the blue font, you'll see that they've got great links there for suppliers, everything from their outreach events to getting paid at the accounts payable, looking also at the subcontracting forecast. So Pantex definitely is more organized if we're comparing them to the Y2 that you'll see in a moment. So a lot of good links here. I would use them and click through them, learn as much as you can, again, before you contact Pantex. When we look at Y12, again, this is just a snapshot from LinkedIn. As you can see on the right-hand side, their supplier information is a little more consolidated, probably not as robust as a budget as Pantex, but they still have their procurement link there, which will give you some information about what they're buying and what they've bought in the past, and the small business program and where to go to register. So they obviously still have the required information, but again, not as robust as Pantex. A little bit of history here. They again are more or less co-located with Oak Ridge facility in Tennessee. They were part of the Manhattan Project for the birthplace of the atomic bomb. And Y12, if you're curious just about the business name, it was the code name during World War II, as you can see here, for the electromagnetic isotope separation plant. And as we hop over to news, the only thing we could find was back in February of this year that there was a fire. So other than that, we didn't see any federal news, any procurement information. Again, they're the smaller of the two entities, which in a way can be good because not everybody will be flocking there. So if there is an opportunity, then perhaps it is worth pursuing. Here's just some headlines from CNS that we found in the news. So just, this was really the most current information we could get. So it goes back obviously several months to the end of last year, beginning of this fiscal year, so October of 2022. And it looks like the CNS operation contract was in fact extended. Although what we saw on that last headline is that the government's looking for RFI. So we'll have to see if that contract is multi-year or kind of where they are in what phase of the contract. So again, that's really where your homework comes in, to dig into SAM a little bit further, or whatever federal data aggregator you're using to get information. Okay, and that's really all that we had, because there wasn't too much information aside from the huge contract that they have to operate these two facilities. If you're looking for today's webinar, it's on YouTube. It will be on YouTube. You can get the PowerPoint on SlideShare. And then here's where we are. Next week, we're covering floor, and then after that will be BAE. The rest of the schedule is listed here. It's also on our website under the top 40 section of the website. We close out the season with GlaxoSmithKline on November 15th, and we skip the week of July 4th. We hope that you'll join us on Monday, July 17th. We expect 200 to 300 federal government contractors. Here are the federal agencies that you can meet with: the SBA, the VA, Department of Education, Department of Defense, Army, DHRA, which is the Defense Human Resources activity, and our good friends who have supported us for many years at the event, Homeland Security. We also want to thank our sponsors who help make the event possible: Federal Compass, GovForce, BidSpeed, Level Up Strategies, and Sahori Insurance. So thanks everybody again for participating, and we hope to see you next week as we cover floor.